But the legislature has complete and total control. You could always change the amount of money you pay per student. I mean, it's a third rail to do so. But, and the same thing in a lot of areas. So they have control over that. It's just they count it as, that's out of our control because it's formula driven. They actually do have that fundamental authority to change those things. The other third is truly discretionary. So how do we change those things? Well, basically, one of the last things I did when I was in the legislature was prevent this problem from occurring again. Basically the problem occurred was there was an initiative a number of years ago that said anything that passes on the ballot can never be changed without going back to the ballot, which is fine except for the fact that some enterprising spending folks said if we put an initiative on the ballot that spends money, they can never reduce the spending. It's a blank check, basically. So we put in a provision in 06 that you voted on and passed that said in the future, if you want to put something on the ballot, it's BYOR, bring your own revenue. So you can't just have a blank check. You actually have to bring revenue to pay for it. So we don't have to worry about this going forward for new initiatives. We do have to deal with two initiatives right now. The biggest one is Prop 204, which is welfare, which is what I had talked about in changing the way we approach welfare. That means part of what that's going to require is going back to the ballot and restructuring Prop 204. There's nothing stopping the governor and the legislature from doing that right now. Going back and putting the 204 back in front of the voters and giving them some real options. Basically what 204 did is you had this free money coming from tobacco that was not going to, from the tobacco settlement lawsuit. And this free money from tobacco, they said, we're going to increase welfare benefits with it. It's not going to cost you anything. What they didn't tell you was that there was a line in them that said basically, if the tobacco money is insufficient, the general fund shall pay the difference. So this program that was supposed to be free is costing you more than $1 billion. So my philosophy is let's go back to the voters and do something kind of like this, although we're working on something that's a little more, a little bit different from this that brings in co-pays and premiums and what I was talking about before. But basically do this, say option A, this is how much tobacco brings in, this is what benefits have to be lowered to for it to be self-sufficient, as you were originally promised. Option B, if you want to keep the benefits where they are, this is what it costs in permanent revenue, whether it be co-pays, premiums, or a permanent tax. And let the voters decide which way do you want to solve this problem. Do you want to reduce the benefits, or do you want to bring in this additional revenue through whatever mechanism that you vote on? Give the voters, that's how you fix this thing. Now that fixes it permanently, forever. Not a temporary solution. This is a permanent fix. And you have to do this because you can't continue your budget the way you're going right now. I mean, if you look at welfare, the Access program, which is the indigent health care program, has grown 75% faster than the rest of the budget grew in the last 10 years. I mean, the program has literally grown. It was grown by $1 billion in the last few years. So one last question, because we're already over time. Yes, sir.
Well, if you were elected as governor, how would you affect these changes? I mean, you can't do like our present governor doing, just stonewall and shut everything down. I mean, how does the governor go about making these changes?
Actually, some of it, some of the pieces when it comes to changing the definitions of success and changing the culture within the agencies, that's fairly simple. You appoint the agency directors and you hire people with the express purpose to reorganize and restructure the reward programs within the agency. Then you go back to the legislature and you do supporting legislation to make sure it doesn't change by future administrations, and once you leave, it's a little more permanent in reporting to the public that way. We continue what I've already started, azcheckbook.com. Every dime the state collects and spends, I put online. You can see every dollar the state collects and spends now. We put this online a couple weeks ago. Complete and total transparency. When the public starts seeing how your money, oh shoot.
Sorry.
When the public sees exactly, you cut my hands off, I can't talk. when the public actually sees what's going on within these agencies, they're going to provide a lot of impetus to continue this way. The final thing is, I've already been talking to a number of legislators about these ideas. The leadership likes several of these ideas already. They would like to move forward with them. The problem is they can't move forward with them right now because of the politics of the gubernatorial race. The governor can't have any of my ideas moving forward because it would make her look bad. So they know it's an instant veto.
I went to your checkbook.com.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just a country boy, I'm a bookkeeper, and I don't understand one thing I see.
Well, thank you for visiting the website. It is in a beta form right now. We basically uploaded all of the data onto the system, and so we're working on some new systems going forward, or some new ways of displaying the data that will make it easier for the average person to dive through this information. Unfortunately, we didn't have a staff or a budget for this. This was kind of a pet project that a couple IT folks and myself worked on, just trying to get the raw data up there, knowing that it's going to take time to digest it all and make it more user-friendly, but we didn't want to wait to put that information out there. So it's going to get better, some of the explanations and such, but basically, to understand the website, every dime the state spends and every dime it collects has to have a code attached to it, saying this came in as a sales tax or income tax or a fee or a fine or whatever type of revenue, or it was stimulus money or whatever. And then every dollar it spends, this was for mileage, this was for airfare, this was for payroll, this was for overtime, this was for whatever. We basically uploaded all of those codes and the money attached to it with the agency. So if you want to see which agency is spending the most money flying around the state of Arizona, you can look that up. You want to see, all that type of data. So it is in a raw form, but it took 2 years to put that together at this point. And I know we're...
Let me buy you a cookie next door, Gene.
And we can answer more questions over there. One last thing I do ask before we head over. I'm going to make a shameless plug. I need your signatures on petitions to qualify for the ballot, and I also need $5 with a qualification form to qualify for funding. We need over 5,000 of these. So if you could please fill one out when we go next door, I would really appreciate it. We need both. We've got family members here with clipboards that'll be over there as well. And if you're inclined to donate, you can actually donate up to $140 as well. So thank you very much. I appreciate it.